Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. This is a shot of whiskey, and I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs for finally, after 50 years, have won their second Lombardi Trophy. That's longer than most Chiefs fans have been alive. That's kind of sad, but hey, you know what? They did it. And if the Chicago Cubs can do it about 100 years after their last title, why not Kansas City? Anyways, this video is not about sports, so let's go ahead and move on. Oh, but before I do, yeah, it's been about a month since the last video that I did as well, and I kind of hate that this is apparently the new norm for me. I want to get back into the habit of doing a video about a week, give or take. So to kind of force myself to get into that pattern, I was thinking about bringing back my Planet Duel and Response videos. They've been doing a lot of these videos that I used to respond to lately, so I was thinking, maybe I should bring back the whole responding to them, because the main reason why I stopped is most of their questions seemed repetitive and they weren't really pumping out that many videos in a month. I mean, it was like 3, maybe 4, and it's like I don't really have a lot to work with, and I hate the idea of stretching it out for 4 or 5 months at a time just so I have enough decent content. So, but yeah, go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Should I bring back the Planet Duel and Responses? Yeah, I have a comment section. That's a great way to do it. Alright, so the actual article. The reason why I'm making this video is I am responding to something that was published about 2 weeks ago on HuffPost UK. I originally got this from a Facebook post in which the person got the article from Yahoo News, which doesn't surprise me. Yahoo is pretty left-leaning, and using another left-leaning source makes sense. So the article, court backs legal action against woman after stepchildren saw her topless at home. Kind of raises a few questions, but just going off of that title alone, the fact that they're her stepchildren, I think automatically proves that she's in the wrong. But in the spirit of fairness, I am going to say that there is just one, detail in which I fully agree with her. It's definitely not enough to where I think she made the right decision, not by any stretch of the imagination. But it is the one valid point that I think that she makes. And she makes a few. Speaking of which, let's take a look at this woman. There she is. So, I know a lot of us have, I can't remember the name of it, but a fondness for redheads. And of course, when I say us, I just mean men in general. But hey, who knows? Maybe you find redheads to be repulsive. I don't know. I like them. Not enough to where I'd say that they're like my go-to, but enough to where I'm like, yeah, I would shag one. Her body's okay. I would probably rate her body as a 6. Maybe a 7. But that face and those hands, she kind of looks like a dude. Just looking at those 3 things, and that kind of hurts her sex appeal factor for me. So all in all, I'd say she's about a 5, maybe a 4. And there's something that's mentioned in the article that, honestly, for me, knocks her down to about a 2. But speaking of which, let's get in the article. A court has backed criminal action against a woman accused of being topless in front of her stepchildren in her own home. That's the thing that I side with her on. It is her home, and that should be the one place where any one of us should feel comfortable walking around completely naked. Until you throw in other variables into the equation, which her stepchildren, that counts as a variable. Actually, technically 3. But yeah, let's skip ahead. Let's go ahead and just go with the article. Tilly Buchanan was charged under Utah's law on lewdness involving a child after she took off her shirt while redecorating her home with her husband in Salt Lake City in late 2017 or early 2018. Now, they say in the or, it's kind of hard to say for certain why, but the fact is, it was a couple years ago. Buchanan's husband also removed his shirt to keep clean, but was not charged because the lewdness law treats men and women differently for baring their chests. Because they're different types of chests. OMG. Who would have thought? Alright, continuing on. When her husband's 3 children, aged between 9 and 13, That's important. I mean, they're not giving the gender of the children at all. So the way I see it is 13, that kid could be a girl, so not as big of an impact, but it could also be a boy. She's given him fat material. And we don't know the age of the middle kid. But nonetheless, the older one, boy or girl, that's middle school age. Lady, cover up. I mean, if it was a toddler or a baby, it might not be that big of a deal. Maybe. But these 3 children, even the 9-year-old, should not be seeing your boobs. You are not their mother, and even then, at this age, mommy shouldn't be showing her boobs to these kids. They're old enough. Anyways, I'm just going to redo the whole sentence. When her husband's 3 children walked in, she explained she considers herself a feminist, hence why she's a 2, and wanted to make a point that everybody should be fine with walking around their house or elsewhere with skin showing, her lawyer said in court documents. Okay, another pause. That's a dumb move to make, because the law is not on your side. And you're involving children that are not yours. In fact, the next sentence adds to the reason why I say what I say. The charges against her were filed after the children's mother reported the incident to child welfare officials working on a separate investigation involving the kids. You are adding fuel to the fire that is already there. And I get that you're a redhead, you love the fire, you are fire, but bad woman, bad. Dear God. Does she not know how to think? Or is she just so indoctrinated that thinking is not in her capability? Police said Buchanan removed her shirt and bra in front of the children while under the influence of alcohol. Okay, what happened to the whole thing about them cleaning and they didn't want to get their shirts dirty? Did they come up with that idea because of the booze? Or are they just trying to cover her ass because she's a woman? It's kind of hard to say. But if alcohol was a factor in it, that makes things even worse as far as I'm concerned. Because who knows what kind of a drunk she is. Further on in the article, in court this week, Jude Cara-Petite, I'm assuming is how it's pronounced, supported... I didn't even notice that. They said supported twice. Yeah, great editing job there. Jude supported prosecutors who argued that lewdness is commonly understood to include women's breasts in American society, the Salt Lake Tribune reported. Yeah. Lady, I mean... okay, I'm going to add something here that I probably should have thought of earlier. The article does not clarify how familiar Tilly is with the biological mother. They may have never met. They may have hated each other. They may be feminazi allies. We don't know. But there's a good chance that, at least as far as I'm aware of, Tilly should have had some idea on whether or not Mommy agreed with her or not. And even if Mommy did agree with her, Tilly should have understood that there's an investigation going on. Why make things worse with something that you and maybe Mom agree upon? Why? Continuing on, it wasn't immediately clear whether Buchanan would appeal the ruling. If she does not, her misdemeanor charges would move to trial. If convicted, she could face jail time and be forced to register as a sex offender for 10 years. Now, I am one of those who thinks that depending on what you do should also have an impact on how long you could have to register as a sex offender. For something like this, despite how dumb it was, and despite how wrong it was, I think 10 years is a little bit on the harsh side. 5, yeah. 7, maybe? I don't know. I think that alone could be an interesting debate sometime. Buchanan and the American Civil Liberties Union of Utah had pointed to a court ruling that overturned a topless ban in Colorado, which has nothing to do with Utah. Okay? Nothing to do with Utah. A global movement advocating for the rights of women to go topless called the Free the Nipple campaign has seen mixed success, there we go, fighting similar ordinances in parts of the country, which again has no relevance to Utah. And I only say that, well, mostly because it's true, but also because the rest of the article gives like 3 or 4 examples of other parts of the country where they've had success. Again, none of it has to do with Utah. Every state in the union could make it to where women can be topless 24/7 if they want to, but if Utah doesn't, that's what matters. You don't like that, go somewhere where you can. Oh yeah, and the article doesn't give any more aspects to this specific case. There may be some updates here and there that I just haven't found yet, but that's what I've got so far. Here's how I look at the situation. Let's say that I owned a home. And let's say that I was stupid enough to get married. And let's say that the woman that I was stupid enough to get married to has at least one child. In fact, we're going to go ahead and parallel this perfectly. Let's say that she has 3 children. They're all girls, 13, 11, and 9. My house. In theory, I should be allowed to walk around completely naked as much as I want to in my house. Which, if I was living by myself, it's kind of hard to argue against that. But in this theoretical situation, I have made the conscious decision to have a woman move in. Granted, a woman who I'm marrying and theoretically banging, so that's not in and of itself too bad. But if she has custody, or even partial custody, or even just visitation rights of 3 children, in this fictional scenario, 3 daughters, I might want to cover it up. Because I'm doing something that I think we can all agree should not be allowed. A man should not be exposing his wiener in front of 3 children. That's a big no-no on so many levels. So, Tilly Buchanan, why do you think it's okay for you to be exposing something that you know, culturally speaking, is a taboo? We live in a culture where what you just did is frowned upon. Add to it, mommy, the actual mommy, has an investigation going around involving these children. Well, I suppose I should give some credit. As far as we know, mommy wasn't the one mommy was not the one, I can do this, I swear, who contacted CPS the first time around. It could have been a teacher, as far as we know. Or really anybody. I mean, there are people who've worked various jobs or whatnot who technically are legally required to report something that they see as possible abuse. My mom is actually one of them. So I have to be careful what I do around my kid, because there are some stupid things, really stupid things, that count. Which, I mean, some things I can totally understand, but some things are just really stupid. And you know what? Tilly, that includes showing off your boobs to kids that aren't yours. I mean, honestly, the only aspect of this that I agree with is it is her home. But if you're going to have somebody else's kids there, you got to think about that. Especially because of the investigation that's going on. You're clearly showing that you only care about yourself, and you really don't care what happens to your husband. Now, it is a fact that step-parents, some of them, hate their stepkids automatically because they're not theirs. And it is also a fact that that hatred can go the other way around. Like in my case, I've had 4 stepdads. During my childhood, it's only been 3. I don't remember one of them well enough to have an opinion on him, at least as far as that aspect goes. The other 2 I thought were losers. I didn't necessarily hate either one of them, but I did think that they were both losers. They were the kind of guys who preferred going to the bar rather than being at home. They were both lousy at keeping a job and thusly providing for their household or for their children. Both of them were also fathers. Honestly, seeing a story like this, I just can't help but think this woman only cared about herself. Maybe she cared a little bit for the dad, but at the same time, she should have thought about what was in his best interest because they were his kids, not hers. Anyways, I feel like I'm at this point where I'm just kind of rambling. But yeah, go ahead and leave a comment. What do you guys think? Should this lady actually go to jail for what she did? Is this an example of people over-exaggerating over mediocre tits? And should I bring back the Planet Dolan response videos? Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing off. Going to go ahead and make the video. And, I don't know, maybe play some Skyrim for the rest of the day before I have to go to work. Peace out, everybody.